What's the richest thing someone has done in front of you? We had dinner, and afterwards, his dad decided we needed some entertainment. So, he got on the phone, and around 15 minutes later, a Spanish guitarist and a flamenco dancer show up and put on a show for us. I realize that's not as showy or ostentatious as casually tossing handfuls of money to a waiter or valet, or things of that nature. However, the idea that he would casually drop hundreds of dollars for a private show just on a whim illustrates just how little money really meant to him. His dad was very laid back. He usually drove an old pickup, and always wore jeans and cowboy boots, and usually a flannel work shirt. To look at him, you'd never guess how wealthy he was. I work at a tennis club with a few well-to-do folks. This one guy and his wife came up, and we got off on the worst foot. He rudely complained about the steak he ordered, and was just kind of an all-around jerk. Not long after that, they come back. He must have realized his actions, and felt bad, because he came up, asked my name and shook my hand, and asked if I could deliver a couple drinks for him and his wife at the pool. When I did, he shoved a 20 in my hand. And every time I delivered drinks after that, I think he gave me $80 over the course of the night. He comes to the register to close his bill, and he says thanks for all your hard work, and slips another bill in my hand, but this time it's a 100. I told him that I couldn't take. He's filled my pockets enough already. Seriously, it's fine. I could tell he was distraught enough that he wanted to make up for his behavior before, and it seemed he felt money was the only way to do it. And I'm sure to him tipping me close to $200 was nothing. The look of dejection on his face when I turned down the 100 was something I hadn't seen before. Since then he has succeeded in slipping me a 100 a couple other times without me noticing. I feel bad because all I care about is that he just treat me like a human. I don't like just taking other people's money, especially as some form of recompense.
Hey guys, we just wanted to thank you for your continued support. Behind the robot voice, we are real people that are working hard to achieve our goals. Please like, subscribe and interact with our videos. It means the world to us. Thanks, the Reddit Rogue team.
Place a $5 million bet on a single hand of baccarat, proceed to lose, and not even bat an eye. Meanwhile I decided not to buy ice cream, so I can save some money. A rich woman had a flat tire and didn't know how to fix it, so I pull over to help her. When I was done we got talking, and whoops, she so happened to drop her wallet and it landed at my feet. She said keep it. I felt so bad, I said no I can't. She insisted. See, I get home and the wallet. $987 was in there with ungodly amounts of change. This was last month as well. That $987 paid off one of my college loans. I will be honest, I cried a little because of this person. She didn't keep any cards in her wallet. She probably has a tip wallet for shit like this or something. Was in a small size little bar for breakfast in SF. In comes a guy who orders the same as I did, pancakes with coffee. We finish around the same time, and I leave my regular 15% tip. Service and the food wasn't special, but whatever, I'm a European, and I know it's their salary basically. But this other guy starts counting his $100 bills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He smiles, shuffles them together, puts his empty cup on top and leaves. His bill was about $20 or something. He paid $1,000. I used to work for a movie theater chain. A long-time employee was getting married and invited the owner. At the wedding he handed the couple an envelope. He asked them to open it then. There was a card and a literal blank check. He told them he wanted to pay for their entire wedding, honeymoon and all. He told them to write whatever it cost on the check and tell his secretary how much it was. When I was in junior high, a kid I'll call Joe the 40H moved in around the corner from me and we got to be friends. His parents were divorced and he lived with his mom, but had regular visits with his dad. What I didn't realize at the time was that the fact that his last name was plastered all over the city, on auditoriums, hospital wings, university buildings, etc., wasn't a coincidence. One day Joe the 4th invited me to go to his dad's house for dinner. His dad lived in a fairly large old Victorian house in a rather upscale area. This was the kind of house that had dumbwaiters and secret passages. It was pretty fun to explore, but I really didn't think much of it. An international student was introducing himself to our group and the professor. The tuition fee for an international student is £21,000. The prof asked him, "How are you handling the tuition fees? What do you think of it?" He replied, "It's pricey, but I can handle it." Prof asked him if he applied for student loans. He deadass replied, "What's a student loan?" with an innocent look on his face. The prof and the other classmates just looked at him with awe. When I worked as a computer tech, I went out to a house call. I arrived and realized it should have been called an estate call. The place was senselessly large. I go to this guy's office to look at his computer and I needed a pen for something. He opened his desk drawer and asks me if guns made me uncomfortable because he had one in that same drawer. I respond that I think guns are cool. Mild exaggeration, he proceeds to take me to his gun safe. I'd like this 9x9x9 bank vault. So many guns, it was insane. I was obviously impressed. He said, "Oh, you like this stuff? Check out my gun room." I tag along, more curious than interested. Then I see a room that dwarfs any other I've seen in a residential building. There were guns, like you wouldn't believe, 50 caliber mounted machine guns, small cannons, like every small arm from the Civil War to modern time. Even as a gun novice, I knew enough to be impressed. Shit was crazy. Refurnish an entire house with brand new expensive designer furniture and toss out the old designer furniture on the curb like it was broken down junk. Couches, beds, wardrobes, you name it. The old furniture was only a year old. They'd purchased it all brand new the year before. I have a buddy in the service industry, so he is in people's homes pretty much daily. He's also a talkative person and generally really likable. Every 6 months or so, he'll call me over and show off some new piece of furniture he got for free. He's gotten a 2-year-old washer and dryer set, a 60-inch TV, a leather massage chair, a new pub height kitchen table and a patio set. All this stuff is super nice and barely looks like it was used. He says people oftentimes will just give shit away just so they don't have to bother with the hassle of figuring out how to get rid of it. I finally got this amazing, beautiful Lego 6990 monorail transport system that I had been wanting for years. Go to rich friend's house. I see some pieces. He has it too. Let's build it. No, the pieces, they're all mixed in with the others. So let's pick them out, right? No, it'll take hours quicker to have them made. Just go buy a new set. And she did. She went out and bought 2 Lego space monorails plus a few other sets to fill it out. My friend summoned with a wave of his hand more Lego than I could hope for in years. He gave orders to an adult. I was astonished. I worked on a 124-foot yacht and went to look, and another yacht he was interested in buying that was stored and owned by the shipyard. The broker was being a real dick, so we just walked off, but he really wanted this classic, and he called the yard owner. After not getting much help, he calls his legal team, tells them to buy the whole freaking yard. 2 weeks later, and he and his team took possession of the yard, his new yacht, Trumpy, and several others. Told me to come with him for the management meeting and fired the frick out of the broker. I got my first real captain's job out of the deal. Solved a minor inconvenience by buying a truck. I was loading my car after a Home Depot trip, and a few spots over was a couple who just bought several large bags of mulch. Well, they couldn't fit all their mulch in their E-Class Mercedes, so the wife told the husband to go to the car dealership across the street and buy a truck. And that's exactly what the husband did. He walked across the street to a Toyota dealership and bought the first used truck he saw to move the mulch. A long time ago, I worked at a security at a casino. I remember once watching a man bet $15k, $5k chips, a hand at blackjack and lose literally every hand without any reaction whatsoever. He probably lost $60k in the 5 minutes I sat watching him. Also, there used to be an elderly guy who would come in and have the entire section of the high roller slot machines reserved for himself. He'd spend 10 or 12 hours going down each row pulling handles at between $100 and $500 a spin. He would usually give advance notice that he was coming, and there would be servers and attendants specifically assigned to him while he was there. This always humbled me. When I think I have some money, there's always someone in Vegas dropping your entire yearly salary on a hand of blackjack. Unless you're in the 1%. Buy a brand new $60,000 BMW without hesitation. He was a Saudi dude I was tutoring in English, and he needed a car. So he just bought one with the same attitude that one would have when buying a gas station sandwich. People with that kind of money are just living in another reality. Saudi guy I know from university got something like $200,000 a month from his family. Unbelievable wealth in that country. I saw someone crash a Lamborghini and 10 minutes later a driver showed up with a Ferrari and buddy drove off while his driver waited for the tow truck. How rich do you have to be to have someone on call to bring you a new luxury car when you're in an accident? So one of my bullshit jobs in college was doing door-to-door pamphlet bombing and collecting donations for environmental initiatives in the SF Bay Area. Normally, it's all volunteer stuff, but this time they were hiring people as it was an election year. Normally, it's a goal of $30-50 per day for each person. This girl, who had done this for a year, partnered with me, and she was just such a nice girl, but no one was donating despite her charm. I did a few, and fared no better. Finally, I knocked on a door and a dude comes out. I did the script kind of half-assed, mainly because I was impressed by his sound system in his living room that I had peaked. He showed it off to us, offered us a drink, and went off to get his checkbook. He comes back with his wife, and she was like, "Ooh, let me get my checkbook too." The guy asked us what we normally get per week for this, and the girl I was with told him on a good week, around $200-250. The guy makes a face, and was like, "Nah, that can't be right," and hands us a check for $5,000. Then his wife shows up, and was like, "You did 5. I'll do 6. And gave us another check, but for $6,000. I went to my boss' wedding. The whole thing was just so damn decadent. There were over 1,000 ppl, a big ass film crane, high budget Bollywood music videos produced of the bride and groom driving luxury cars, multiple wedding cakes, etc. What made me pause though, was when freaking $5-10 bills started raining from the sky and the guests danced on them. The bills were American. I'm in Canada, too. I tried to be low-key and grab some, but my GF said it'd look bad as everyone else, sporting expensive looking suits and saris, were ignoring them. Understandably, I was achieved when I asked for a raise soon after, and I was told the company wasn't making enough to justify what I wanted. We were speechless and my partner started to cry. The guy also asked us to give him a call by the end of the week, so he can follow up with our efforts. I found out later that he was a retired music producer who was super loaded, but lived in a normal looking house outside of Oakland. Crazy stuff.